Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Crown Paladin Hexblade Warlock build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a great build that can get set up at the very start of the game. It applies a ton of debuffs and it's an absolute blast to play. So the first thing we're going to do is start off as the Paladin here. This gives us our Lay Hands and Divine Sense, giving us advantage on attack rolls against Celestials, Fiends, and Undead, and ability to heal our team. And we're going with the Crown, the Oath of the Crown here, giving us Righteous Clarity. Target yourself or an ally to add a proficiency bonus to their attack rolls, increasing their overall ability to hit. So we also get our special Oath of the Crown tenets here, but what's amazing about the Oath of the Crown is you get the ability to add Spirit Guardians, which is going to be a very big component of this, as you'll see. It's very strong. Now, for our ability scores, it's good to build around, I would say, Dexterity, because we can actually go with the Fowler Alluve weapon early game, and it's going to be incredible for us. So going with something like 16 Charisma, 10 Wisdom and Intelligence, 14 Constitution, and 16 Dexterity, and then dumping our Strength. You can use Strength Potion if you really want to, but we don't really need Strength as much as we need Dexterity for this to work properly. And we're going to be wearing medium armor, as this actually ends up being very strong for us. So I'll cover the gear after I go through the full leveling guide here. So at level 2, what we're going to be selecting is our spells, and we also get the most powerful attack here with Divine Smite. This adds radiant damage to our attacks, and later on we'll be able to add radiant damage to all attacks. Now for our fighting style, dueling will add 2 damage if we're using a shield. I would recommend going with a shield weapon, so that can be nice, but I actually think defense for the +1 armor class, early game, this is huge. This means you're much less likely to get hit, but it actually scales well through the whole game. Now for our spells, we want to have command. This is going to be a really effective spell to have. And in addition to this, we can take the other smites, although I'd recommend just using Divine Smite. You can take Bless for an option. It's an okay option, or Cure Wounds just for healing. Overall, the Paladin spell list is not fantastic, but we do get amazing spells from the Oath of the Crown. So we can take off our command now, because we'll now have it from this. But we also get the Champion's Challenge, which will command all enemies to target you, and they'll have disadvantage on their attacks against other targets, making them much more likely to attack our character. And we also get the Turn the Tide, which does a 1d6 plus 5 healing, and it's a pretty large radius, as you'll see. Can be a great ally to our teammates, because this will help us. We do a lot of things with this build. So we debuff, we make them attack us, we heal the team, and as you'll see, it's actually quite strong. So we'll just go with something like this, and I guess Shield of Faith can also work too for an increased armor class. At level 4, we get ourselves a feat and another Lay Hands charge. So for this, I would recommend boosting our Charisma. Charisma is going to be our main stat, because the Hexblade Warlock allows us to use our Charisma for attack rolls, which is pretty big. Now, level 5, this is a nice spike. We get ourselves extra attack, which we can do 2 attacks per action, but we also get Spiritual Weapon. Now, the Maul version of this can do a dazing attack, which makes it more likely that we land our commands, which is huge. Now, for the spells we'll be going with, I would recommend taking the Branding Smite, which can stop targets from turning invisible. Lesser Restoration is also not a bad one to have, and Aid can be okay as well. And once we get to level 6, we get our very powerful Aura of Protection, giving us a +4 bonus to saving throws. This is now corrected in this patch. It used to say +0. So it's just going to add a Charisma modifier to our saving throws, which is really, really nice. And honestly, you can just take whatever spells there. There's nothing super necessary. At level 7, we get subclass feature Divine Allegiance. When an ally within 1.5 meters of you takes damage, you can use your reaction and magically substitute your own health for theirs, taking the damage instead of them. Which is nice. Again, you're a protector in this role. At level 8 here, we get ourselves another feat, which we're going to use to increase our Charisma all the way up to 20, because this is going to be where we use for our attack rolls and everything else. At level 9 here, we get our ever powerful Spirit Guardians, which we can use to apply a ton of radiating orbs to the enemies. And we also get our selection of level 3 spells. So I take Revivify. Elemental Weapon can also be really nice. And we can go with our Blinding Smite there. Remove Curse can have some uses at some points in the game, but entirely up to you for the rest of the spells. We got everything that we need. Now, a couple more levels and we get our very powerful effects. We also get ourselves Aura Courage. Can't be frightened, which is nice. And then at level 11, this is where the big one is. We get ourselves the Improved Divine Smite. So every melee attack we do will deal additional radiant damage. And you're going to see this actually becomes very strong, because we're just going to be unstoppable. Now, the final level, we're just going with a single level dip into the Warlock. Now, guys, this is actually really strong, because not only does this give us Eldritch Blast, which scales off of our just our character level, we get the 3 beams regardless. But we also get ourselves the Hexblade's Curse with this in the Bind Hex weapon. So now we're going to use Charisma for our attack rolls. This gives us a nice 20 on our attack roll. And it can also give us a 1 in 10 chance of applying the Hexblade's Curse on our attacks. And we also get the Hexblade's Curse. So what this does is it gives you Damage rolls against the target a bonus equal to a proficiency bonus, so 4 more damage on our attacks. And the number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking is reduced by 1, so a 5% increase to our overall attacks. Pretty nice as a bonus action. And we also get our medium armor proficiency, which we already have from the Paladin, and Divine Hex Weapon, which is a big point of this. So we're going to take the shield spell, because we can use our Paladin levels to use this. Wrathful Smite is a spell that we already have, so you can go with like Hex if you really wanted to. This does require concentration, which we are going to be using from another spell. Hellish Rebuke can also be kind of nice just to have another option for damage. Arms Vidar and even Armor of Axe is really good for the cold damage that we do on attacks. We're going to go with this here. Now, what we're going to roll with for gear is pretty important because this makes us a unstoppable menace. So, the Holy Lands Helm, it's not showing it properly. I don't know what mod is causing this issue. I only have like 2 mods downloaded. But what the Holy Lands Helm does is whenever an attack roll against us misses, they'll take radiant damage. Now, we got gear that'll apply a lot of radiating orbs. We got the Luminous Gloves. When the wearer deals radiant damage, the target receives 2 turns of radiating orb. Luminous Armor. When the wearer deals radiant damage, they cause a radiant shockwave, which further enhances that. And we got the Coruscation Ring. When the wearer deals spell damage while illuminated by a light source, they also inflict radiating orb for 2 turns. And there's going to be a lot of light sources with this. Trust me on that. We also got ourselves the Cloak Protection for increased armor class and the Evasive Shoes. However, we can actually lower our armor class by 2 here by taking the Boots of Stormy Clamor, which will give us the ability to stack Reverberation on the target, because anytime we do it in a condition and Radiating Orb is a condition, we stack Reverberation, which can potentially knock the target prone when we get enough stacks. And we can take out the Ring of Protection and add in the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. So we can go around, smite 2 targets, and then do Command as a bonus action. This becomes crazy. And we're going to go use the Hellrider Longbow for a +3 to our initiative. And the Fowler Alluve. This is Act 1 weapon. This can give us the Fowler Alluve Melody, which does actually work pretty well whenever we're having our Spiritual Guardians on. So you can see here the Shriek. It's for 5 turns. This will do a bit of thunder damage to targets and give them a penalty saving throws, which is nice because that penalty allows us to hit commands a little bit more frequently. So that can be really good. Although, if you got some late game weapons like Crimson Mischief's great. You could go with a 2-handed weapon like Baldur and Giant Slayer if you wanted to, or even like the Axe Sethin, which is a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Depending on what kind of playthrough you went through, you could go with any of these here. Even the Sacred Star on hit inflict 1 turn of Radiating Orb on the target. This can be a really nice weapon late game if you don't want to use Fowler Aloof. This is the early game one, and this can be a late game weapon because the extra Radiating Orbs that you get is quite nice. So Sacred Star could be a really good weapon there. It's your choice between those two if you want that early game weapon or not. Now, what this is going to end up looking like in combat, I will show you here now. Now, in order to buff up ourselves, we can add the Righteous Clarity to ourselves, giving us a bonus to equal to our proficiency on attack roll. So it's a nice +4 to our attack roll. So we can apply that here to start things off. And then we can go ahead with also applying Spirit Guardians. And I would recommend, obviously, the Radiant version because we get a lot of benefits from using Radiant damage. And now we're ready to rip into a fight here. So this is a great concentration to hold. And if you got Fowler Aloof, you can use this ahead of combat as well. Only if you know you're getting into a combat encounter. That's when it's obviously going to be at its best. But we also want to make sure that we got our Aura Courage and Aura Protection on for that +5 saving throws. That's actually really massive. So what this will look like once we get ourselves into a turn of combat here. I'll just start things off with just a casual attack here. So we'll go with something like I guess let's do Eldritch Blast on a few different targets here. So maybe we'll just target this guy here. Or no, we'll spread it out here. And what happens once we get our combat started is we're going to go around applying our Radiating Orbs on as many targets as possible. And we got a lot of ways to do that. So what we're going to do here is we'll just run ahead. Oh, we got attacked first right off the bat. And what's nice is you can see there, we actually, we knocked them prone with Radiating with our so we got actually a huge blast of Radiating Orbs with the Sonic Backlash, but we also stacked up a Reverberation and knocked them prone. So that just ended their turn immediately. Now it's our turn, so what we're going to do is run into them. We got 2 turns of Reverberation, 8 stacks of Radiating Orbs already on that target, and this target here now has 6 turns of Radiating Orbs. So yeah, we don't have to worry about missing attacks. Oh, we got critically hit. That was not ideal. Ideally, what would happen is they would miss and we would actually do more radiating damage on them. So, boom, that actually took out that target and stacked 8 turns of Radiating Orb on that target. And we're actually going to prompt a opportunity attack, which is perfect because, again, we should likely miss, and then that's going to stack another 2 turns of radiating orb from our helmet. Yeah, this becomes crazy. And then we can just go around divine smiting, because that's just going to further stack up the radiating orbs and finish them off. So that target's just destroyed. And then we'll just go after this one here next, and that'll be solid. So bonk, that took them out and also stacked up 10 turns of radiating orb. If you got any abilities of like sprinting around, like sprinting can be nice, because then we could further stack up the radiating orbs there. But since we got also command as a bonus action, this can be nice because we can tell a few different targets to walk towards us, and they're just going to get hit with our radiating, our spirit guardians, and get blasted by that. Now, I don't have enough movement speed there to be able to target that, so what we'll do is we'll just do a command approach, and we'll upcast this, so 75% hit chance, 35, oof. Not very likely, but we'll do it anyways, just for the meme, and 2 of them got hit with it, that's fine. What's nice about this is we now are going to set up more radiating orbs to further mess up the enemy. Now they're just going to run towards us here, and that's exactly what we want, because as they run towards us, they get hit with that radiating orb, and then we can continually stack them each turn. That now already has 10 stacks of radiating orb. This guy has 10 stacks of radiating orb. That one has 9 stacks. If we could get back there, we would go affect them with it. That's the beautiful thing about this, is it gives you a lot of damage options, and we don't have to worry about opportunity attacks because they're going to have a -10 to their attack rolls. So even if we run away, like I'll show you this here, we're just going to do our radiating attack, which then stacks up further radiating orbs, and in this case it gave a reverberation stack, so pretty funny. It's actually really fun. So we'll proc that again, another radiating orb. It's crazy what this build can do. So boom, that actually took them out just by walking. Boom, that took them out just by walking. That's ideal. If we can do this without even having to fight, half our battle's done for us. And a nice little bonus is, since we have the coruscation ring, we're illuminated, so we can just go ahead. Unfortunately, we can't make it far enough to be able to attack this target, but our Eldritch Blast will also stack up radiating orbs, as you'll see here. I guess they already had, that took them, or that stacked up enough radiating orbs that we were able to get the reverberation. We're knocking people prone left, right, and center. It's pretty crazy. Unfortunately, we don't have enough range for half of these spells, so it's not a bad turn in all honesty. Being able to stack that much radiating orbs is pretty crazy. So I guess with this we'll just look around if there's any targets. No, we're actually doing really good with defensiveness, so we'll just go ahead with just Eldritch Blasting this target, which took them out. That's perfect. And then we have our bonus action, which we could just use for a spiritual weapon, and we'll drop down the maul. And what's nice about the maul, it's going to take hits for us, but then again we can also give the dazed condition, which is also applied by the special weapon there, and that gives us a higher crit or higher chance of landing our commands. Again, I love the sonic backlash, that's just going to further stack up radiating orbs on the target. It's pretty nice. So yeah, every time we get missed, we return fire with that radiant damage, which is sometimes enough just to knock them flat in their butt. So yeah, it's crazy. So here we're gonna take someone out with our spiritual guardians there, and then we can go for a spell. I guess we could also just run up on them, see if we can actually apply more radiating orbs on the enemies. Let's see if we can get a little closer without the gate giving us the call. There we go. I got mine broken. I went too close. Unfortunately, I just lost my spirit guardians, which I guess you could see the main benefit of using it. So, and this is a perfect opportunity. So we have our shield spell, which will give us an increased armor class. So this is actually going to help us, because this will then do radiating orb, knock them prone, ending their turn. And our spiritual maul actually was really useful here, because it took 2 turns away from the enemy because they were just attacking it. And we got our concussive smash here, which dazed the target. Perfect. That's what we wanted. It doesn't always land that, but when they're dazed, then you can hit them with the command, and it's much more likely to hit, because then you'll have advantage on it. Unfortunately, we lost our spirit guardians, but I'll just take this opportunity to pop it back up, because it's actually that useful to have. Because then you see there, it did a little extra damage, and then we can apply it to that target there too, and they now got themselves fully beefed up with the radiating orbs. And then also I'll just do a mind blast here, because I don't really have any other option for attacking, and we'll just drop that down, which took out both of them, but it would have further stacked up radiating orbs. And then we'll run over here to hit them with some more. 19 damage, that's nice. And then we got more guards to fight here too, so that's even better. And boom, we'll hit them with this again. That was enough to take them out, and then also stack radiating orb on that guy. Crazy. And they were foolish enough to move out of our spirit guardian, so likely all we need to do is now go like this and take them out. Yeah, Spirit Guardians is pretty crazy, especially if you have Call the Weak, the Illithid ability. You can just drain people really fast that way. We don't have enough movement speed to run up on this the last couple enemies that we got to fight here. But that's all right because we got other options here. Like we can just hit a simple Eldritch Blast, and that should be enough to hopefully take them out. That was perfect. And we stack Radiating Orbs and Reverberation on that target, which is exactly what we wanted. And we'll use the Hexblade's Curse on them because every other enemy that we went against, we didn't need to. The Hexblade's Curse is only once per short rest, just a heads up on that. And he is attacking Shadowheart. We cannot let that happen, so we're just going to rip in, and our Spirit Guardians did not make it far enough, unfortunately. But we'll move Shadowheart out of the way so then we can go ahead with... what we'll do is we'll just use a simple command approach on them, and they have 94% hit chance because they're dazed, and that's all we need to do. So we'll just end our turns and let them walk to their own demise. Boom, there it is. So that's a very overpowered. This actually comes online early game because you get it so quickly, and don't just ignore me breaking my oath there. But yeah, this is really powerful because of those Radiating Orbs. It's useful for the entire game. Reducing attack rolls just means you're less likely to hit. You're a great protector for the team, but you're also a great damage dealer, as you could see there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.